on, Headliner Nation? Chris Kennedy here with the Fantasy Headliners, coming at you again for another week of DFS picks. Now, I want to start off by hoping that all of you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Hope it was full of food, football, friends, family, whatever makes you guys happy as long as you enjoyed yourselves. I know for me personally, I had an absolutely great day. Jake and his family were awesome hosts. It was a full day of food, drinking, football. Let's see, Jake's kids kicked my butt in Mario Kart, so it was a great day. It was really fun. Um, so again, just happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there in Headliner Nation. I hope you guys really enjoyed your day. Now, another part of Thanksgiving usually is Black Friday, and that is where all of the sales and promotions come out. And over at the Fantasy Headliners, we didn't want to miss out on all the fun. So, this weekend, from now through Monday, we are offering 40% off of your 2021 draft guide for next season. So, where it's normally 20 bucks, you get 40% off of that price if you sign up using the promo code on the screen, making sure that you're doing that by Monday to get 40% off of your draft guide for this upcoming season in 2021. So, with that out of the way, let's get over to the picks. We're going to start off here with Monkey Knife Fight. And this week, where I normally go for the early 1 o'clock games, we're going to target the afternoon games for Sunday. And there are a couple of contests here that I really do like. One of them in particular is going to be what they call a rapid fire. And it's pretty much instead of the more or less where you have to decide if one player is going to have more or less of a certain stat, it's going to be two players going up against each other in these matchups. So this first one is Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady in passing yards. And Monkey Knife Fight is giving Tom Brady a 25.5 passing yard bonus. For me personally, I do think that Patrick Mahomes still throws for more passing yards than Tom Brady, even with that extra 25, 26 yard bonus. Patrick Mahomes has thrown for at least 300 yards in each of his last 3 games. And so far this season, Tom Brady has only thrown for 300 plus yards in 3 games overall this year. So I'm taking Patrick Mahomes with more passing yards. The next part of this is going to be receiving yards between a couple of teammates, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce is only getting a half-yard bonus, but with that said, Travis Kelce is also having his own 3-game streak this season with at least 100 receiving yards or more in each of his last 3 games. Now, Kelce and Hill are both had really good seasons so far, but I'm going to give the edge to Kelce here, saying that he has more receiving yards than Tyreek Hill. The next contest we're going to be going up with is going to be the standard more or less that we've been doing for this season. First matchup here, Taysom Hill, over or under 199.5 passing yards. He's going up against a Broncos defense that allows about 230 to 235 passing yards per game. And Hill did top 200 passing yards last week in his first start. So I do think he can still top that mark. So I'm going to say he goes more than 199.5 passing yards. The next player we're going after here, Travis Kelce, more or less 78.5 receiving yards. Again, where he's had this streak of 3 straight games of 100 or more receiving yards, I look for him to continue that success this week. Maybe he hits 100 yards or maybe he doesn't, but I do think that he hits over 78.5 receiving yards. So those are my picks this week for Monkey Knife Fight. Make sure you guys are heading over to monkeyknifefight.com. When you open up a brand new account and you make a deposit, we will match that up to $50 as long as you make sure that you're entering at least a $10 deposit. So making sure that you're going over to monkeyknifefight.com, sign up for that new account. We will match your deposit up to $50 using the promo code on the screen. So let's get into the actual DraftKings picks for this week. And this past week for week 11, it wasn't terrible. Went about 50-50 as far as good and bad picks. Again, I'm Logan Thomas. What can I say? I'm going to be completely off of this guy for the rest of the season as far as making recommendations to you guys, because it seems like he only hits when I don't play him. So Logan Thomas is going to be off the table this week. But we did still have another couple of good picks last week, but much better than that debacle we saw in week 10 where it was just a complete for disaster. But we are on to week 12, and starting at the quarterback position this week, I'm going with none other than Josh Allen. He did have the bye week this past week, But in his two games before that, weeks 9 and 10, he actually was the number two fantasy quarterback in total DraftKings points. For the season, he's still a top five fantasy quarterback as well. And he's going up against the Chargers defense that doesn't allow a lot of passing yards per game, but they have a very high touchdown rate. So where they may not yield a lot of passing yards, they do give that up in their actual passing touchdowns. Again, this Bills offense has really been rolling lately. And I really do think that Josh Allen is poised to have a really nice matchup. And that way you don't have to pay up for somebody like a Patrick Mahomes or a Kyler Murray. At $7,600, Josh Allen is the play that you want to have. The Bills have an implied total of almost 30 points. So there's going to be plenty of scoring to go around in this matchup. Going over to running back for this week, there were a couple of guys that I was bouncing back and forth between, but the one I decided to land on is New York Giants running back Wayne Gallman Jr. Priced at only $5,000 on DraftKings this week. And that's a really great value for somebody going up against the Bengals defense that's allowing 121 rushing yards per game. And also, one thing to keep in mind is over the last 3 weeks, Gallman's touches have just started to increase. He's had 13, 15, and 19 total touches over his last 3 weeks. And he looks to have another big week this week as far as the workload is concerned going against the Bengals. So at $5,000, Wayne Gallman Jr. is my running back for DraftKings. Over at wide receiver, I'm going with Antonio Brown. Tom Brady has really been looking at him over the last few weeks. And over the last 2 to 3 weeks, Antonio Brown is actually top 5 in the league in targets. So Brady's looking his way. He's going up against the Chiefs defense that isn't terrible against wide receivers. But again, when it comes to fantasy, we're looking for volume. We want to see where those opportunities are going to be coming from. And where this game could certainly be a potential shootout, Antonio Brown could be the guy that Tom Brady relies on just because we know the defense is going to be honed in so much on Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So $5,700 is plenty of a discount so that you can spend up elsewhere. But at that price point, I really do like Antonio Brown this week. Finally, going over to tight end. And I'm not going to worry about it dumpster diving or going for a really cheap option. I'm going with Darren Waller. He's $6,000. He's the second highest priced tight end on this main slate, but I'm sticking with him because he's going up against the Falcons. Falcons have been giving up 62 receiving yards per game to tight ends, total of 8 touchdowns per game. I'm sorry, it's all 8 touchdowns total to tight ends. And Darren Waller is the only person on the Raiders that's actually averaging over 5 targets per game. He's seeing a target share of almost 30%. He's seeing plenty of red zone targets at 15 total on the season. And for somebody that's $6,000 at tight end, that's more than enough value where he can meet and exceed that price point. So again, for me, $6,000, Darren Waller of the Raiders is going to be your tight end choice for this week. That's all I've got for you guys this week. I hope everyone has a great weekend. We've got the Mike Tyson fight against Roy Jones Jr. coming up on Saturday night. I know Jake's going to come over for that after the live stream. Also, make sure that you guys are heading over to thefantasyheadliners.com. Take advantage of that Black Friday promotion. 40% off of your 2021 draft guide. Just make sure that you do use the promo code that's on the screen and you'll save 40% off of that draft guide. So again, that's all I've got for this week. But again, have a great week 12. Have fun. We'll see you next week. Take care.